a social worker who became one of the most influential black chefs on television, a cancer diagnosis on the eve of her biggest break, and a promise to God that would define her legacy. This is the story of Elle Simone Scott. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Before we start, this isn't just a cooking story. It's about resilience, faith, and breaking barriers when the odds are stacked against you. Today, we're talking about Elle Simone Scott, a name you might recognize if you've ever watched America's Test Kitchen on PBS, but her story goes way deeper than what you saw on screen. Here's the thing about Elle that most people don't know. Cooking wasn't her first career. It wasn't even her second. Elle grew up on the west side of Detroit, cooking with her grandmother, who made food for their church. Her great-grandmother was a cook in a Jewish nursing home. Food was literally in her DNA. But here's what she said in an interview. "I knew I loved cooking, but I didn't even know that was a thing." She didn't know you could make a career out of it. So what did she do? She went to Eastern Michigan University and became a social worker. For 7 years, she helped people. She made a difference in her community. That's who Elle was at her core, someone who cared about others. But then her agency lost funding. And instead of seeing it as a tragedy, Elle saw it as an opportunity. She took a job cooking for Norwegian cruise lines. Yeah, you heard that right. From social worker to cruise ship chef. In 2009, Elle moved to New York City. She enrolled in the Culinary Academy of New York. She interned at the Food Network. She started freelancing as a food stylist. She was grinding, learning, building her skills. And then came the call that would change everything. America's Test Kitchen wanted her. America's Test Kitchen, for those who don't know, is one of the most respected cooking shows on television. It's been on PBS for decades. And Elle was about to become one of the first black women audiences would see in that test kitchen. She moved to Boston in 2016. This was her moment. Everything she'd worked for was about to pay off. But right before she started filming, something happened that would test her in ways she never imagined. Elle started having intense abdominal pains. She went to an OB/GYN in Boston. And then she got the call. Ovarian cancer. Think about that for a second. You've just landed your dream job. You're about to break barriers on national television. And you find out you have cancer. Most people would have walked away. Most people would have said, "I need to focus on my health. I can't do this right now." But Elle made a promise. She said, "God, if you let me survive cancer, I will use my platform to bring attention to this cancer and any other women's cancer. And I will give my all to SheChef and give my all to women who look like me." And that's exactly what she did. Elle didn't just survive and go back to work. She became one of the most beloved personalities on America's Test Kitchen. Viewers fell in love with her warm personality, her expertise, her joy. She didn't just test recipes. She changed what representation looked like in food media. But here's what really matters. Elle used her platform. She documented her cancer journey on Instagram. She educated people about ovarian cancer. She advocated for women's health. And she founded SheChef, an organization dedicated to supporting women of color in the culinary field. She noticed that many of the people of color she went to cooking school with didn't stay in the industry. So she decided to do something about it. Her philosophy was powerful. She said, "I think creating positive kitchen cultures is the solution. It's not my job to undo racism. I didn't create it. It's my job to create a positive, affirmed culture of women who can navigate." She wasn't just fighting against barriers. She was building something better. On January 8th, 2026, Elle Simone Scott passed away from ovarian cancer. She was 49 years old, but her legacy? That's going to live forever. In every woman of color who sees herself represented in food media, in every person she inspired to pursue their dreams, in every cook who learned from her on America's Test Kitchen, Elle kept her promise to God. and in doing so, she changed the world. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We tell stories like this every week, stories about people who made a real difference. Drop a comment below and let me know what part of Elle's story inspired you the most. And share this video, because stories like Elle's deserve to be heard. Rest in peace, Chef Elle Simone Scott. Your legacy lives on.